At our new house in the country, I decided that I wanted our landscape to not only be for aesthetic value. I had this vision to turn the entire landscape into what I'm calling a foodscape. Basically a food producing landscape. Instead of just having landscape plants and flowers, I wanted to incorporate almost all fruit producing plants. As you can see, we really had our work cut out for us. I'm Jake Wyatt.
I'm Ryder Wyatt.
And this is the Wyatt Life. The whole process starts with marking out the beds in the new shape that you want and removing all the sod. Now with all the sod removed, we had a fresh palette to redesign our foodscape. All of the fruiting shrubs we purchased were at half price or better because I waited until late spring when they put all of their shrubs on sale. I also decided to add a flat stone step to the back of our patio so we could step down into the backyard area.
3, 2, 1.
Ah! Woo!
Very nice.
I leveled the step and added some flagstones as a walkway into the yard. Now that the stonework was done and all the plants were in, it was time to start the mulching process. I acquired all of the mulch for free from a local tree trimming service. The point of using this natural mulch is to not have chemicals or dyes in my soil breaking down and being absorbed by my fruiting plants. Also, being absolutely free is a huge plus. Although this was a ton of work, there's no better feeling than seeing a project you're this passionate about completed. Being able to involve my family in the whole project and help me with it was great. Although my son Ryder here is only 4 years old, he is an excellent helper.
Mulching was a lot of work, but it was fun.
A couple weeks of hard work and 20 yards of natural mulch later, it was finished, finally. Dump it right there. It's been over a month now since we finished this project.
There you go.
And now comes a time I've been waiting for. I can finally give you a full tour of my finished foodscape.
And today on the Wyatt Life, we're gonna do a landscaping tour.
Hey, good morning everybody. You heard right. We are finally doing the tour of our foodscape. This was such a cool project and I'm so excited about the potential that this has to grow food for us. Well, and just to watch it transform and watch the plants grow. So on the back patio here, I got this really flat stone from work as a step. This opens up and goes right into the backyard, into the garden and the chickens. And these are blueberries, and we did get a couple blueberries off of all of ours, but I cut most of the blooms off. All these fruiting shrubs, when you plant fruiting shrubs like this, you are better off cutting the blooms and the fruit off of your plants for the first year or so, because they don't need to be focusing on fruit growth. They need to be focusing on root growth. This is a blackberry, which you can see this thing is just going great. So then here is just a regular raspberry, like black raspberries.
This is a currant berry.
Yeah, that's a currant. And then here's another blueberry, and this guy was really almost dead. A lot of these leaves are new. He almost died completely. The thing with blueberry plants, they like acidic soil. And around where I'm at right here, this soil is all pretty much neutral. I really have to amend the soil. And then back here, that is a yellow raspberry. Here's another blueberry that's doing pretty well. And here's a really nice rhubarb. So in this little bed, we might add more stuff. We'll let these grow and see how they do, but we might add some more plants in here even. There's 2 more blueberries, and I did this little flagstone path to the porch swing, which is really nice. This is a hydrangea. It's doing great. My wife loves hydrangeas. I love these kind of hydrangeas also. So that's one of the plants that's not fruit producing that we planted just for looks, but also to draw in pollinators. In a foodscape like this, it's a great idea to plant flowers still amongst it, because flowers draw in all your pollinators, and all your fruiting shrubs and trees, fruit trees, all that stuff, they need pollinators. The more pollination they get help with, the better fruit production you're going to get.
This is an elderberry plant.
Where?
Right here.
Yep. This is our elderberry. I have just one, but I'd like to plant more. This one's called black lace. But yeah, it's doing really well. This whole head's new growth since we planted it. Doing really good. Nice elderberry plant. Here's a couple more blueberries. They're doing great. Another feature I did is this stone. Instead of doing splash blocks, I got rid of them because I can't stand splash blocks. I suggest people either bury them and put what we call a bubbler under the ground. And it's just an elbow that is flush with the ground out here, and the water can bubble out in the yard away from the house. If it's mulch and that gutter's carrying a lot of water off the roof, a lot of times it can wash your mulch out in that spot. So what I did, instead of the splash blocks, I put beds of river rock, deep beds of river rock around where they splash out. And you can see we have had some crazy storms, and it has not washed that mulch out whatsoever. So there's another currant bush. On this side of the house, we had a lot of extra room because I didn't have any more fruiting shrubs, and I didn't want to just leave that bare. I thought, we could put something in here and have some kind of production here, grow, use the space. And I actually had a lot of tomato starts left that we started this spring, and my mother and father-in-law had some extra like eggplants and peppers and stuff that they were trying to get rid of that they didn't need. So I thought, you know what, let's just throw some vegetables in here too, because why not? So here's a Cherokee purple tomato that's doing awesome. Should have put a cage around it though, but it's gonna produce tomatoes for us. That would have been an empty space, so we decided to use it. Here would have been an empty space. Another tomato, this one's called Black from Tula. It's a real black purple tomato. It's doing great. Then here's a couple eggplants. This is just would have been wasted space, so why not? And if I don't get more fruiting stuff, maybe I'll start doing vegetables in this section every year, because it's a great place to do it. It's just more production of food for our family. Here's some sweet banana peppers. They've got peppers on them right now, actually. So this is where I decided to put crops that I didn't want to put in my gardens, because I'm going to be rotating my gardens every year. So there are certain crops like asparagus. Here's some asparagus I just started. This whole square rectangle here is going to be asparagus. That's it. Because asparagus is a perennial that comes back every year in the same spot from that same rootstock. So you can't be, you don't replant it every year. So if I'm alternating my gardens every other year or so, my asparagus patches will get ruined, or I'll have to go around them. So this is a spot that can stay stationary and stay in the bed and be protected, and I can mow around it easier. And then you move down to this section. This entire section here will be strawberry patch. These are all strawberry plants that I put in here. Look at this. And they're all different varieties. Some are everbearers, some are June bearers. They'll put runners out and they'll fill this whole bed. Here is an old, big purple lilac. Cora really wanted a lilac in the landscape, and again, draws in pollinators. So that'll be a pretty little landscape plant. It'll hide the air conditioner, kinda. On the corner here, we got a red raspberry that came from one of our good friends. And these are actually hollyhocks. If you don't know what hollyhocks are, they look like kind of like a hibiscus. Right there they are, and you can see there's little bugs in there. These just came up volunteer. They've probably had hollyhock plants here in the past, and they seed like crazy. These are all seed pods. So this corner, I'm gonna kind of let volunteer hollyhocks every year, because for one, I love them. I think they're awesome flowers, but pollinators, hummingbirds, all love them. Draws bees, all kinds of stuff to the landscape. Here's some really pretty dark irises. This time of year, they kind of look shoddy, but that's just what they do. But the spring, they get a nice bloom. Here's some big daylilies that get nice blooms. Look at the size of this rhubarb. This thing, I just planted that this spring, and it is going nuts. That is a huge rhubarb.
And about rhubarb ice cream.
Oh, man, now you're thinking. Here's another blackberry. This is a black raspberry. That one's just going crazy. If you want to see how this foodscape works out for us, what kind of fruit production we get in the years to come, just stick with us and stay tuned for updates on the Foodscape. Say see you later. Say bye. Say bye-bye.
Thanks for watching and see you next time.
We'll see you guys later.